Welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, and it's Monday. Time to take a look at Week 4's NFL schedule, make some win-loss picks for every single game. But before we do that, as always, we take a look at last week's calls, where I was right and where I was wrong. And damn, Week 3 was a humbling experience. Games that you think you know exactly what's going to happen. Nope. Shit goes the opposite way. And, fuck. 9-6 so far. We did take the Ravens tonight, but yikes. We need that 10th win to remain relatively on pace with the win record I am hoping for this season. I'm trying to win 10 games every single week on average. So these are my win-loss picks from last week, and the games I got incorrect was Cleveland versus Green Bay. The fuck happened there? The Titans versus Indianapolis. I'm done disrespecting the Colts. I apologize to Indiana Jones. You are much better than I would have expected. The Vikings-Bengals game, I overlooked. The Vikings defense, gave too much credit to Jake Browning. That one was a missed call. The Falcons-Panthers game, the fuck happened there? 30-0. I don't think anyone expected 30-0 in this game. The Panthers mainly won on defense. Maybe Michael Penix just sucks. But the Bears did beat Dallas, and maybe if CeeDee Lamb had been healthy, that game would have been more competitive, but good for Chicago, got their first win of the season. And then the Niners did beat Arizona, maybe James Conner going down, and Marvin Harrison Jr. dropping passes did play a factor. That game was close, felt like a coin flip. I was on the wrong side of it. So I went 9-6, and y'all did have a better record than I did. Y'all go 10-5. Here are the poll results in Week 3. You guys were correct about Buffalo, obviously. You were overwhelmingly on the side of the Colts. Good for y'all. You did take the Packers at an elite rate. That one shocked us all, except for 6% that may have just been trolling. The Bengals-Vikings game, that one was a coin flip in your eyes. Very close call. The majority of y'all did take Minnesota, so that game was correct. But then the majority of y'all did take the Patriots in what was a coin flip decision as well. Y'all were wrong about the Patriots game, underestimated the Steelers, but mainly the Patriots just lost that with 5 turnovers. We were correct about the Tampa Bay game, and then the Commanders, basically this percentage was exactly how overwhelmingly the victory was. 4 days rest, more than their opponent, did factor in. Even with Mariota, the Commanders cruised to victory. You guys did take the Texans, however, believed in Houston, and that one was wrong. The Falcons-Panthers game, we were all shocked by that one. That one was a massive upset. And then the Seahawks did dominate the Saints as expected. The Niners and Cardinals game was a bit closer than the poll would have thought, but the poll was correct. And then that Eagles-Rams game was extremely entertaining. A massive comeback. What a win by the Eagles. The Chargers did find a way to come back against Denver as well. They got the win as y'all expected. And then maybe just CeeDee Lamb was the big turning point in that Cowboys game. Most people got that wrong. The Cowboys did not win. But y'all did trust the Chiefs on Sunday night, and they did show up. So 10-5 was the record for y'all. Entering Monday night, you guys do agree with me. You guys are picking Baltimore over the Lions. So on the season, I am already 6 games back. I'm really digging myself a nice hole to come out of. And so far, your overall record is 34-12 as an audience, and my record is 28-19. I need this win tonight to get to 29-19. I'm not too happy about my picks so far. But to make matters worse, now is where I should probably crawl into a hole. I went 0-6 against the spread this week. God damn. That is bad. You know, this morning, I figured I should probably get my eyes checked, and I went to the eye doctor. They got me a new prescription. I do need glasses. Oh, wow, that's much better. That is actually way, way better. I'm legally blind this week against the spread. Did prove it. So now I can finally see a bit more clearly. It also, it didn't just come with only glasses. They also gave me this to walk around with, and oh, okay. Here's where I went wrong. I can see much better with this glasses and stick combo. Holy shit, I was way off base here. The Bills did not cover. The Bills were 12.5 point favorites. They only won by 10. That one I can live with. That one probably not the wisest call. The Dolphins were pretty desperate, but no one believed in the Miami entering this game. Good for the Dolphins to at least play well, but even just the penalty on the punt, that probably sealed the game, but Tua's pick definitely not going to help them. But the big upset of the week was Green Bay losing the game straight up. For them to not win was a big shocker. So maybe Jordan Love is overrated. Maybe they don't have any receivers they can trust. I also think that losing Jaden Reed plus the combo of Tucker Kraft getting hurt late in the week, their offense just wasn't right. And the Browns have a very legit defense. The Browns have very good coaching. And then a late turnover that was returned inside the 5-yard line, that set them up for an upset. So the Packers did not cover. That one was bad. The Bucs should have covered. The Bucs should have fucking covered. But if not for a blocked kick, the Jets would not have had that extra touchdown. So I'll go back to being blind. I got this one wrong. This game was much closer than expected. The Jets had a backdoor cover, a lot of extra points in the fourth quarter that did prove me wrong. So that one really, really stung. I was sad about that one. And then my confidence in Tennessee was proven incorrect. I've been sleeping on the Colts. So I fully admit I was dead wrong on Indianapolis. Holy shit, they look much better than I would have expected. Danny Dimes deserves some credit, but I was way off base with the Bengals and Vikings game. I don't think I really thought this one through enough. I only got the news of JJ McCarthy going down like 2 minutes before I started recording. I included this game into the spread picks just because I knew that the line was going to go down. That 3.5 number, I don't think I put enough thought into that one. So my bad. That one was really a naive investment there. And then betting against the Chiefs, usually against the spread, has worked out. But I guess they were just so desperate for a win. They buttoned everything up. They had a very good defensive game. And Russell Wilson looked like shit. So all 6 picks were terrible. A full collapse on my part. And I probably should have gone 1-5. But the Bucs gave up that blocked kick touchdown. And that did really screw me over. So on the season, after going 0-6, honestly, it's even worse than 0-6. The last time I recorded this, I also took the Raiders to cover. And so technically, since the last time I posted this win-loss pick video, I didn't just go 0-6, I actually went 0-7. I was 8-3, and now we are 8-10. We are now below 500 on the season. So, holy shit. I don't deserve any credit for this. This shit is bad. Holy crap. But, you know, one thing golf has taught me, if you shit the bed on one hole, the next hole you can bounce back quickly, and you just got to move on and forget about it. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's wipe the slate clean. Let's move on and try and be better. But goddamn, that was an awful showing. Don't get cocky. As soon as you get cocky, you get humbled very fast. Week 3 was a very good learning experience to not get too cocky. So let's move on. Let's take a look at week 4 schedule and try to redeem ourselves. That's the only opportunity. I deserve a big L in week 3. But here are the games in week 4. On Thursday night, we have the divisional matchup. The Cardinals are hosting the Seahawks, and the Cardinals did just lose James Conner. The Seattle Seahawks have looked really good. Ever since they lost to the Niners in week 1, Sam Darnold has been on fire. So Torrey Horton, a weapon that's really turning up pretty quickly. The rookie has really stepped up, and I love what I'm seeing from JSN. Even without Charbonnet, the run game looks phenomenal. So I believe the Seahawks are a playoff team this year. I picked them to win the division, and I believe they are better than the Cardinals. So I think they will win. I think without James Conner, it's going to be a big problem for Arizona to run the ball. The Seahawks defense will step up. And even though this game is in Arizona, they have to trust Trey Benson and Marvin Harrison Jr. a lot. 2 players that I still do not believe in. Give me the Seattle Seahawks. I think they're the better team among these 2. Next up on Sunday, we have the Steelers traveling to Dublin to take on the Vikings. And the Vikings are still without JJ McCarthy, but honestly, Wentz is way more experienced. And at this point in time today, I think their team is actually better relying on Wentz than McCarthy. Their offense is going to be a lot more potent in the passing game because of that. So I trust Jefferson to play well. Jordan Mason also looked amazing. And their defense looked phenomenal against the Bengals. Last week's win for Pittsburgh wasn't really convincing that they're an elite team. The Patriots just shit the bed with 5 turnovers. And maybe you should give the Steelers defense just a lot of credit. They did recover all those fumbles, but still I just haven't seen enough overall to feel locked into betting on Pittsburgh all year. So they're a very old team. They got to travel to Europe. They have a bye after this. I don't know if they're going to be as sharp as they've looked in their 2 wins on offense. So I'm going to trust Brian Flores, and I will take the Vikings. I think the fact this game is in Dublin early Sunday morning, veterans on the Steelers are not going to respond well to the jet lag. I think in the first half, they're going to look pretty slow. So I think the Vikings get out to an early lead. It gets closer in the second half, but I think their defense holds on to the lead. I will take Minnesota. In Ireland, I think I trust them a bit more than the Steelers. Give me the Vikings on the road in Dublin. In Atlanta, the Falcons, after an embarrassing shutout loss, will be hosting Washington, and I don't know for sure if Jaden Daniels will suit up or if we get Marcus Mariota once again. But as of right now, I'm going to assume that Mariota's going to play, and it also looks like Terry McLaurin is going to be out for some time. So the Commanders don't have the same rest advantage like they did last week against the Raiders with 4 extra days. And traveling on the road, I think the Falcons are going to really bounce back. They got really embarrassed, and I just don't see them as that bad of a team. Penix had multiple interceptions, and even when he was trying to tackle the defender, he was just grasping at straws. Penix looked like shit. So maybe he's that bad, but I think he will bounce back. I think they're just going to lean on Bijan Robinson more, and I don't think the Commanders will be able to stop Bijan. And I will take the Falcons at home to get the win. I might be dead wrong. They might look just as bad as last week. I believe the Falcons are a playoff team, and I think they will right the ship. Give me the Atlanta Falcons to get the win over the Commanders, who I think will start Mariota. But if during the week Jaden Daniels does play, I will probably flip my selection. Until then, I will go with the Falcons over Mariota and the Commanders. In Buffalo, this one is very obvious. Spencer Rattler is not going to beat Josh Allen, and the Saints look decent at home in the Dome, but at Seattle, much different story. Traveling to Buffalo, they got no shot. The Bills have extra rest. This one is obvious. Definitely give me Buffalo to win straight up. The only question is, will they cover the spread? In Detroit, the Lions are going to host the Browns, and I don't want to sleep on the Browns defense. They did beat Green Bay, who completely demolished Detroit, so it's possible that the Browns can find a way again, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Lions are going to lose tonight to the Ravens, and I think they'll bounce back. I think they're going to stay around 500, especially against bad teams like the Browns. I think they'll get the job done. So they're going to play at home. Jared Goff is a much different quarterback when he plays in the Dome as opposed to on the road. And the Browns kind of got lucky with the win last week. So not going to happen again. Definitely give me the Detroit Lions over the Cleveland Browns. I'll trust Jared Goff to put up a good game at home once again. So give me Detroit. When they win, they can also blow you out. So the Lions should cruise to victory over Cleveland. In New England, this game feels like a toss-up after last week. The Patriots probably should have beat Pittsburgh, but with 5 turnovers, no one can really mount that comeback. And the Panthers look like a juggernaut, beating the Falcons 30-0. But the Panthers played at home in division. They're much more familiar with that opponent, and I just don't believe that they will actually lock up everyone like they did last week. So maybe their defense is much better than I'm giving them credit for, but I just don't think the Patriots will shoot themselves in the foot that many times. So I think Drake May is a better quarterback. I think Mike Vrabel is a better coach, and hopefully Christian Gonzalez can get back on the field. Even if Gonzalez doesn't play, I think the Patriots will figure things out. They're going to move off Ramondre Stevenson after 2 fumbles. They got to lean into the rookie Travion Henderson pretty soon, and I think if he gets going, good luck stopping him. I will take New England. I think they're going to bounce back from that ugly loss and play much better. I think Vrabel will clean up a lot of mistakes as the weeks go by. So maybe they're just prone to making turnovers like that. Maybe their grip strength needs a lot of work, but I think they're better than last week would have suggested, and I think they bounce back. After getting embarrassed, I think the Patriots clean it up, get the win over the Panthers. I trust Drake May a little bit more than Bryce Young, but honestly, this feels like a toss-up. This feels like a very close game, and I could definitely be wrong, like I was wrong about Carolina last week. So give me New England, Don't feel great about it, but I'll take the home team here. And then in New York, technically New Jersey, the Giants are hosting the Chargers. And I think this will be the end of the road for Russell Wilson. I do not expect him to finish the game. I think at some point we will see Jackson Dart on the field. And the Chargers defense is really going to clamp down. I do not trust Russell Wilson at all. And if they can stop Malik Neighbors, I don't see any reason to trust them over Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. Chargers defense looks phenomenal, and they'll definitely give the Giants problems. Even though the Chargers have to travel across country for an early morning game, I don't think they're going to be jet lagged. I don't think they're going to look tired. Give me the LA Chargers to get the dub on the road at the Giants. I trust Herbert looking like an MVP candidate. I think he gets the win pretty comfortably over the Giants. I think they win by more than a touchdown. In Tampa Bay, a marquee matchup this week, the Bucs host the Eagles. The Eagles look like they were back in championship form in the second half. An amazing comeback with 2 amazing blocked kicks. They really earned that victory over the Rams. And there are not many teams that are even capable of hanging with the Eagles. The Rams were one of them. And I believe the Bucs are one of them as well. The Bucs have actually played really well against the Eagles. Todd Bowles' defense matches up very well against Philadelphia. So they've given them a lot of problems. Losing Lane Johnson on the offensive line is a big, big deal. And the Bucs, even though Mike Evans is dealing with a hamstring injury, might not be available for this game, are getting much healthier. This week, they're expected to get Tristan Wirfs, their left tackle, back on the field. That's going to be a major, major benefit for them. And then Chris Godwin is also probably going to return as well. They didn't put either player on the PUP list. And in week 4, I think that was the main reason why. I think both guys will be healthy for this matchup. So even if they lose Mike Evans, Godwin will step up. Bucky Irving and Rashad White have looked really good in the run game. And Igbuka has been very hard to stop as well. So I'm going to take Baker Mayfield. I've seen enough from him where I think he can beat the Eagles secondary. This is going to be a close, hard-fought defensive battle. Both teams have good offenses, but I think it'll be more of a low-scoring game, and I will take the home team. The Bucs defense has looked pretty legit overall, and I think the Bucs won't sleep on this opponent like the New York Jets. So give me Tampa. I think they're going to be buttoned up. I think they're going to start 4-0. The Bucs have looked very impressive, and I think they're one of a handful of teams that can actually beat Philadelphia. Maybe it doesn't happen. Against my better judgment, I will take the underdog in this game. Give me Tampa Bay to get the win straight up. I'm going to trust Baker Mayfield and Emeka Egbuka. In Houston, this is a very interesting game. In division, the battle of 0-3 teams. The loser drops to 0-4, and that's basically a death nail on the season. There's really low odds to come back from 0-4. So this is a must win for both teams, and the Texans are hosting the Titans here, so you would think the home field advantage does factor in. However, their offense just looks broken. There's been nothing encouraging from the Texans offense this season. So I don't really trust them. And if you go back at this division rivalry, there's actually a lot of games in Houston that the Titans win. So I'm going to stick with my faith in Tennessee for one more week. If they really look terrible again, then I'll move off of them. But I'm a believer in Cam Ward. I don't feel like I've seen anything from CJ Stroud this year to feel confident. The offensive line for the Texans is atrocious. So I think that the Titans can at least keep this one close. In division, it'll be a hard-fought game, and I will go with the Titans. I don't feel great about it, but I think they're going to get the job done here. I picked them to beat the Colts, and that was definitely a bad call. If they lose here, then I'll stop believing in them. I'll admit I was wrong, but I've just lost a lot of faith in Houston. I picked the Texans to miss the playoffs back in August, and although I thought the Titans would win the division, it looks like the Colts are clearly the favorites to take that. I don't feel confident in Houston whatsoever, so I will take Cam Ward at some point. He'll get that first win, and I just don't believe in the Texans' offensive line. They have no real run game to believe in, and if Nico Collins doesn't dominate, then their offense is just so inept. I don't trust them whatsoever. So give me the Titans. Don't feel great about it, but I'm calling upset with the rookie quarterback. He gets his first win in week 4. In LA, the Rams are hosting the Colts, and the Colts look like a very legit matchup. I was wrong to sleep on them through the first 3 games. So the Rams have their hands full here. I don't think the Rams are going to automatically cruise to victory. And their defenses looked good, but their secondary is vulnerable. The Rams gave up a big touchdown to Dallas Goedert last week, and I do think they could be vulnerable against some elite playmakers like Tyler Warren and Jonathan Taylor. So I think this game is going to be very close. I'm actually really tempted to pick the Colts. I honestly flip-flopped for about 5 minutes deciding who I thought would win this game. At first, I was like, clearly LA, and then the more I thought about it, oh shit, Indiana Jones could definitely pull the upset here. So I think it's more of a coin flip. I think if Stafford gets hit the wrong way, that back problem will crop up again. And if he goes down, it wouldn't shock me. I did only pick the Rams to win 10 regular season games, and it's possible they lose this one like they lost last week. So off a brutal loss, maybe they sleep on the opponent, but I think they'll play well. I think at home they have a slight home field advantage. At home, I'm going to trust Sean McVay. Shane Steichen and Lou Anarumo do deserve credit here. The coaching for the Colts has really stepped up, and their roster is legit. So I could see an upset, but I'm not going to pick it. If the Colts win, though, I might just end up picking Indianapolis every single week rest of season. I've shit the bed on my Colts prediction this season. I might be dead wrong once again, but I will take the home team. I will take the Rams. I trust their quarterback and coach a little bit more. I think they have better pass catchers overall. I'm going to take Puka and Adams to get the job done. Give me the Rams over the Colts. In San Francisco, this is a very interesting game because the Niners just completely get wrecked on the injury report every single week. Some new guy goes down. This week, it's Nick Bosa, suffered an ACL injury, out for the year, and their defense is kind of devoid of weapons beyond Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. So I'm worried about that. I think they're going to give up more points than they have all season, perhaps. The Jaguars run the ball very effectively. They've had a lot of success in the ground game. But where I don't believe in the Jaguars is at the quarterback position. Their passing game is yet to click. And Brian Thomas Jr. played a bit better last week, but still not good enough to feel really confident. So this is probably going to be a revenge game for Mac Jones. There's a chance that Purdy is worried about losing his job and gets back on the field. Purdy did practice in limited fashion one time last week, but they're expecting him to miss at least 2 games. Maybe Purdy comes back, but I think Mac Jones has looked good enough where they'll keep him on the field. The revenge narrative for Mac Jones, I think, will factor in here. So as long as Christian McCaffrey remains healthy, I will trust the Niners offense and Kyle Shanahan to get the job done. I have not seen enough consistency from Jacksonville to know for a fact they're going to win. But this game is a toss-up in my opinion, a true go-either-way game. I will take the home team. Traveling cross-country, I think, might impact the Jags and their fatigue level just a little bit. Not enough to be a blowout, but I think enough to get the loss. I will take the Niners at home over the Jaguars, but I don't feel great about it. Losing Nick Bosa, I think as the year goes on, they're not going to remain undefeated. Their defense not going to look as good as the weeks go by. But this week, I'll trust Robert Saleh to hold strong. I will take Mac Jones and the Niners. If Purdy's the quarterback, then they'll also probably get the win. So give me San Francisco. Don't feel amazing about it, but I do think they're better. I think they have a higher chance of making the playoffs than the Jags do. So give them the win in this game. In Kansas City, the Chiefs are going to host the Ravens, and the Chiefs have looked vulnerable, but last week they buttoned up a lot, and I think odds are Xavier Worthy will be back on the field. So their passing game should be better. If Mahomes has to scramble, that's not a good sign, but last week he barely did that at all, and I think they are going to be a lot more focused and sharp. Starting off 0-2 really put them in dire straits. So I'm worried about the Ravens coming off a short week, having to travel. The Ravens just never beat the Chiefs. And even though the Chiefs don't look like the same team, I think with Worthy coming back, their offense will look better. And I think for whatever reason, the Ravens will just make one too many mistakes. And it's not that the Chiefs are going to look overwhelmingly better than the Ravens. I just think, like always, when the Ravens lose, they shoot themselves in the foot and make a mistake. They just can't come back from. So whether it's a Mark Andrews drop pass, a Derrick Henry fumble, or their secondary just giving up way too many yards in the fourth quarter, I do not trust Baltimore enough to say that they are better than the Chiefs. I will take the Chiefs here. It's at home. I think they'll get the job done. It'll be a close game, a very entertaining back and forth battle, and the Ravens might just dominate and torch them. But history says don't bet against the Chiefs. I think 2 straight losses was enough for them to figure things out. I think they look much better rest of season. And Andy Reid is very, very prepared for this game. Give me Kansas City to get the win over Baltimore. The Chiefs and the Ravens, I think, will be 2-2 after week 4. In Las Vegas, the Raiders are hosting Chicago, and the Bears finally got the win, but I don't know if I fully believe it. I think the emotion of beating Matt Eberflus and CeeDee Lamb going down all factored in. The Raiders have a better defense than the Cowboys do. So the Bears have to travel. Their defense rarely steps up on the road like it does at home, and I don't think I fully trust Caleb Williams. If you really think about it, he is only 2-12 in his last 14 games. Caleb Williams is still an overwhelmingly losing player, and I'm going to bet against him once again. Maybe I'm wrong to do that. They have a bye, I believe, after this game, so perhaps they click after the bye, but I think they lose this game. I'm going to trust Pete Carroll's coaching a little bit more than Ben Johnson's. I have not seen enough from Ben Johnson against good coaching staffs for me to feel like, yeah, this is a lock for the Bears. So this one's a go either way game, a true pick'em, and I will take the home team. Give me Las Vegas. I think Geno Smith steps up. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think Ashton Genty in the run game will seal it, kill the clock enough in the fourth quarter and second half to get the job done. Give me Las Vegas over Chicago. I think it's a breakout game for Ashton Genty. In Dallas on Sunday night, there is no fucking chance I'm taking the Cowboys. The Packers did lose to the Browns. I think they're going to look way more sharp. I think odds are they were underestimating the Browns and looking ahead to this matchup. You know Micah Parsons is going to step up in this game. It's a big revenge game for them, and I'm not expecting Kenny Clark to be able to stop Josh Jacobs. Definitely give me the Packers. I think their defense looks amazing. Without CeeDee Lamb, I just can't trust Dallas. Maybe at home in primetime, Dak steps up, but I think the Packers defense is just too good to fade. So I think the Packers bounce back after an embarrassing loss. I don't think they'll look as bad. And maybe Jordan Love just sucks, but I think their defense is good enough where they will beat Dallas pretty overwhelmingly. So give me Green Bay. I do not want to bet against the Micah Parsons revenge game turning into a win. So give me the Packers. I think they're the better team. On Monday, we have a doubleheader, which neither game is really interesting. I think it's a really big letdown that we have 2 games on Monday. It's never fun to have 2 to flip back and forth from. And the Dolphins hosting the Jets is not going to be a fun game. The Dolphins have a lot of rest here. They played last Thursday. Now they're playing on Monday, and they should be really prepared. However, the Jets have looked feisty, and I think they will step up in this game. I think with Justin Fields back on the field, I trust the run game of the Jets a little bit more than the Dolphins. So Tua, not going to look good. Too many turnovers from him, and their defense is just atrociously bad. I don't think they're going to have an answer to stop anyone this season. So I will take the Jets. Don't feel amazing about it. If the Dolphins are going to win a game this year, this is probably one of them, but I will take New York. I'm going to trust the Jets because I think they've looked competent overall. Their offense has been a little better than expected this season. So don't trust the Dolphins defense. I will take the Jets. Maybe it's a dumb choice, but I will take New York over Miami. And then last game on Monday would be Denver hosting Cincinnati. And if Joe Burrow didn't go down, this game would be a lot more interesting. But with Jake Browning looking like shit, I don't trust him at all. And the Broncos, I think, drafted a cornerback in the first round because they were unable to stop T. Higgins last season against the Bengals. So I think the Broncos secondary really steps up. Pat Surtain and Jahdae Barron going to look very good. And I think Bo Nix will get his shit together. The Bengals defense is not one I trust. So if they couldn't stop Carson Wentz and the Vikings, Bo Nix and the Broncos will look much, much better than they have so far this season. I will take Denver. Sean Payton will get the win. So these are my picks in week 4. I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks over the Cardinals on the road on Thursday night. And then in Dublin, Ireland, I'm going to take Minnesota over Pittsburgh. In Atlanta, I could be way off base here, but I'm going to take the Falcons over the Commanders. But if Daniels plays, then I will flip my pick and pivot to the Commanders. In Buffalo, a no-brainer. The Bills beat the Saints. In Detroit, I think the Lions will beat Cleveland. Goff, a much better player at home. And then in New England, this one's a toss-up, but I will take the Patriots. I don't think they have as many turnovers as they did against the Steelers. In New York, the Giants are going to lose to the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh and Herbert will go 4-0. In Tampa, I'm going to call upset. This one's a true toss-up. The Eagles probably are the wiser pick, but I will take Baker Mayfield to get the win over the Eagles. In Houston, I think the Titans are going to beat the Texans. I've seen nothing from the Texans offense to feel confident in them. So give me Cam Ward over CJ Stroud. And then in LA, the Rams, I think, will beat the Colts, but I'm worried about Stafford's back. There's a chance I'm wrong about this one. This one could go the other way. And then in San Francisco, a bit of a toss-up, but I'll take Mac Jones to get some revenge over Jacksonville. I do not trust Trevor Lawrence enough to beat the Niners. In Kansas City, I'm going to trust Mahomes and the Chiefs to get the job done. Historically, they've usually beat Baltimore, so give me the Chiefs. And then in Las Vegas, I still don't believe in Chicago. I'll take Geno Smith over Caleb Williams. Give me the Raiders at home over Chicago. And then in Dallas Sunday night, give me the Packers to torch Dallas. Without CeeDee Lamb, it's not going to be as close as it would have been. In Miami on Monday, I'm going to take the Jets to beat the Dolphins. I just don't believe in the Dolphins defense at all, and Fields should play well. And then in Denver, I think without Joe Burrow, the Bengals have no opportunity here to get the job done. Give me Bo Nix and the Broncos to get the win at home over Cincinnati. So those are my win-loss picks for week 4. Let's hopefully be better than last week. And here are my 6 picks against the spread. We were terrible last week. We were amazing in week 2. And on the year, we are now below 500 because last week was so bad. But I'm hopeful I can bounce back. I'm going to hopefully learn from some mistakes here and try and be more wise. This line in the Packers-Cowboys game, I have to take it. Less than a touchdown, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers. I think Micah Parsons really steps up. And after getting embarrassed by the Browns, I think they really clamp down. I think this game is either going to be a 20-30 point win or a last-second field goal. And I think it's more likely to be a blowout. So give me the Packers. I think they do beat Dallas by a touchdown. And -6.5, that's a key number. Give me the Packers as favorites to win by at least a touchdown. I think they'll get the job done. Hopefully, they cover. Last week, they did not. But in New York, I believe in the Chargers overwhelmingly above the Giants. I think they're a much better team, and their defense will step up. I have a hard time believing the Giants will have a good game plan here. So maybe the road trip factors in. Maybe on the East Coast in the morning, the Chargers don't look good, but I think they've stepped up in the past in this spot. I think they'll do it again. Give me the Chargers -5.5. I think they beat Russell Wilson by at least a touchdown. In New England, the Panthers looked way better last week than we would have thought, and with some signs of life, even on the road, I think 5.5 points is too much. We've seen very little from the Patriots defense. They also turned it over like crazy last week, so they can be beat, and I do think the Patriots win, but not by 6+ points. I think that's just too much of a point spread. I will take the Panthers getting 5.5 points. I think it's more of a field goal type of matchup than a full touchdown in favor of New England. So I think the Patriots win, but the Panthers cover. That's a lot of points to be getting after winning by 30 against the Falcons. In Houston, maybe the Titans are going to be one of my worst calls on the season, but where I'm confident here, I think they can win straight up, but at least cover the spread. 7.5 points against the Texans offense that has looked completely inept. I just don't see it. Even if the Texans win, I don't think they put up more than 20 points here. And to tell me that the Titans have to put up less than 13, I just don't see that happening. I think it'll be a closer game, a tight division rivalry. I don't think the Titans are this bad. The Texans offense definitely is not that good. So Tennessee +7.5 is just too much of a point spread. Maybe I'm way off base, but give me the Titans with more than a touchdown. And then in Ireland, I'm going to trust that the Vikings defense does step up. -2.5 is just enough to keep me interested. And the Steelers just can't run the ball. I don't think they can keep the Vikings off the field. So maybe Carson Wentz is going to shit the bed here. Maybe the Mike Tomlin Steelers defense forces as many turnovers as they did on Drake May. But I will trust Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell. Give me the coaching of the Vikings in Ireland. I don't trust this environment for a aging veteran roster. I think the Steelers just start too slow to get the job done. Give me the Vikings to cover. I think they win by at least 3 points, -2.5. I'll take Minnesota. And then the last one I'm going to take is technically a pick'em. 1.5 point spread is pretty negligible, and this game is on the road. So I think if it was in Seattle, the Seahawks would probably be favored by 3.5 points, and I think they will win. Without James Conner, I don't trust the Cardinals offense enough. So the Seahawks have looked dominant in their last 2 wins. They probably don't win by blowout, but I think they win straight up, and getting any points here, I will take Seattle for sure. Give me Sam Darnold over Kyler Murray. I've not seen enough from Arizona's offense to trust them. Give me Seattle as 1.5 point underdog. So I am leaning on a few favorites, but in general, it's pretty balanced. We have the Packers as 6.5 point favorites. I do think they cover. I also think the Chargers cover 5.5 points. I think both teams win by a touchdown. And then the Panthers, I don't trust to fully win, but I do think 5.5 is enough to take. I don't think the Patriots are that much better than Carolina. Give me the Panthers plus 5.5. The Titans, I think, are getting way too many points here. More than a touchdown, I think, is a little disrespectful. The Texans aren't that good. Give me Tennessee plus 7.5. And then the Vikings, I think, will win by at least a field goal. Give me Minnesota minus 2.5 in Dublin. And then lastly, I think the Seahawks win the game. So plus 1.5, it's a toss-up. Give me Seattle as underdog. So that's it for this video. Damn, I was humbled this week. 0-6 is pretty terrible, and I don't blame you if you don't want to believe in any of my calls this week. But in general, trust the poll results. Those are more accurate than I am. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I will see you next time. We'll see what happens in week 4. Hopefully, I don't go 0-6 yet again. But my name's Adam Riancho. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Nice and blunt.